Whatever path you are on, whatever inspired you to come here today, we honor you and we welcome you. And now, our message.
One suggestion on that song.
Yeah.
And say, yes, there is peace on earth.
All right, we'll take that into deep consideration.
That's the way I sing it.
That's the way I sing it, too.
Okay, let's take a moment and go within. Thinking about those words, peace.
Yeah.
Yes, there is peace on earth. More than ever before in our history, there is more peace, more good going on. It doesn't maybe look like that because the news only reports the negative. But I know from reading, I know from hearing Jean Houston, I know from hearing other sources that there is more good going on than ever before. There are millions of people and organizations doing wonderful, wonderful works. So let's open our hearts this morning to that, to the awareness of that, to noticing that, to honoring it and believing it. That spirit, this creative force, this energy that is in, through, and as all of us is doing amazing things. That science is making amazing discoveries. That people are coming to greater and greater positive awareness in their lives. That we can notice the good in our lives, our individual lives, every single day. And we remember that, we honor that, we stay aware of that. So this morning as we hear Allie speak, and as the songs have said to us, let there be peace on earth. Yes, there is peace on earth. Let us notice that. Let us remember to be aware of that, opening our hearts more and more every moment to the greater good that is our lives. I release these words, reminding myself that that's how I want to live my life. And saying that for you as well if it resonates with you. Being grateful for knowing that as I speak my word, the law says yes. So I continue to speak my word for what I want to experience in my life, what I want others to hopefully move in more joy and more peace and more love in their lives. And I release these words, knowing they are done. And so it is.
Thank you, Claire. That was beautiful.
You're welcome.
Beautiful. So here we are at week 3 in our introduction to the basic principles of science of mind. We'll be drawing a lot from this beautiful textbook, The Science of Mind and Spirit. This is an older version, so it's don't look for it on the bookshop table because it won't look like this, but this is my version of The Science of Mind, a philosophy, a faith, and a way of life that was introduced through Dr. Ernest Holmes back in the 20s, the 1920s. Soon we're going to be like in the 20s again. We're going to say the 1920s, not the 2020s. 2020s, wow. Maybe this is the time we'll have 2020 vision.
Ooh!
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
I always look for, those kinds of little signs and signposts when I was helping to organize the curriculum that we teach here, which is a 4-year program. I realized that it's 4 years, it's 90 hours a year, and 4 times 90 is 360. So by the time you've taken the training, you've done a complete 360 in consciousness. So we've got moving into the 2020s and doing a 360. I love that. So the basic principles of the science of mind. I have quite a few notes today to keep me on track.
So you're not double.
Oh, okay. All right, that's okay. Maybe it's the echo that it gives it a mysterious sound. So week 1, Reverend Lyle talked about the thing itself. It's the first chapter of the first part of the introduction in the science of mind. And the thing itself, Dr. Ernest Holmes is capitalizing it and referring to God as an it. And he doesn't keep referring to it as an it. He uses probably 73 different words for it. God, infinite intelligence, the absolute, first cause. There's many different ways that we can look at the thing itself. This one happening. I like Alan Watts's definition of what's happening. It's this one happening. I like to think of God as the one happening. It's the physical, the non-physical, and the laws that hold it all in place. It's the thing itself. Then the second chapter is the way it works, and I talked about that last week. And the way it works, the way it, spirit, the universe works, is through law. So that's another part or aspect of this thing we're trying to describe with our human words, which seem so unable to really describe it sufficiently to how we feel and experience it. I mean, the word God or the word spirit and how you feel when you're connected to the enormity of it is a little different, wouldn't you say? How you feel and the words that we use to describe it. So the way it works, the thing itself, the way it works. We're discussing, those of you that come from traditional religion would call this the Trinity. We refer to it as the metaphysical Trinity, or the triune nature of God. The thing itself, which is spirit, the way it works, which is the law, and then we have what it is, which is the body, or the physical manifest universe. Spirit, mind, and body. Body, mind, and spirit. So that's the thing itself, what it does and how it works. Now I can sit down. No. So what's the benefits of really knowing this? What are the benefits of really knowing this? It's my belief that once you understand what the universe is, what God is, and how it works, we can live conscious lives. We can be consciously aware of what we're thinking, therefore attract what we desire. So that's basically how this mental science works. You choose your thoughts and you choose your experience. Change your thinking and change your life. So you can always find out what you're thinking, what your predominant thoughts are, by having a look at your world of effects, what you've manifested, what you've demonstrated. Those are words that Ernest Holmes uses a lot. Demonstration or manifestation. It's that which we've created intentionally through our thoughts and our actions. Is this making sense?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So I have a quote that I wanted to read. So from this week's chapter, what it does I wanted to read. We should approach the study of this science rationally, never expecting to derive any benefits from it that its principle does not contain. For while it is true that we are immersed in an infinite intelligence, a mind that knows all things, it is also true that this intelligence can acquaint us with its ideas, only as we are able and willing to receive them. So that's the big part of this. We can understand this, but only to that degree do we really consciously use it. The divine mind is infinite. It contains all knowledge and wisdom, but before it can reveal its secrets, it must have an outlet. This outlet we shall be compelled to supply through our own receptive mentalities. So we supply an outlet for this mind, this infinite mind. But we can only become aware of that as we pay attention to it, as we open up to it. So we are here at the center, and many places in Ogden and beyond around the world, we do things like offer meditations, or classes, or workshops like we did yesterday. We did a visioning workshop where we created vision boards. So we offer offerings to give you an opportunity to quiet the busy mind, the chit-chat mind, the conditioned mind, the ego mind, and tap into the infinite mind, the one mind. Because you, me, all of us, are an outlet for that greater mind. So we're not limited by what we know, or what we've learned, or what we've experienced, or our world of conditions, because we have the ability to tap into something so much greater if we're receptive, if we're willing, if we're allowing. And I would think, because you're here in this room, that all of you are willing, allowing, and receptive. Otherwise you wouldn't be here. You'd be somewhere else, sitting in a different pew. So I know each of you are seekers. I know that you're seeking your truth. And I love the fact that we light the flames of faith. We know that there are many ways to this one truth. There are many ways, and we honor all those paths. And we honor and weave together all the positive traditions and offer that in our teachings. The blending of Eastern and Western philosophy, New Thought, Ageless Wisdom. This isn't really new, this is ancient wisdom. And we're not just awakening, we're reawakening. Because I think we've all fallen asleep to some of these truths. So we come here together every Sunday and we remind ourselves through the music, through our conversation with like-minded people, through the teachings of Ernest Holmes and so many more, of the truth that we already know. There's a part of us, I believe, an incredibly wise part of us that already knows this. Do you sense that? Do you sense that about you? That you're hearing things that you already know, that have a certain frequency that can light you up a bit when you hear them? Truth, with a capital T. I love that about this book. He capitalizes all of these words, and when I first read it, I thought, what is that? Infinite knowingness, capitalized. That's a word for God in this book. So, Dr. Holmes says that love rules through law. Now, he said that God is love. And many of us have heard that God is love. So love rules through this law. And he says, in an intelligent study of the teachings of the science of mind, we come to understand that all is love. And yet, all is law. Love rules through law. Love is the divine givingness, and law is the way. Love is spontaneous. Law is impersonal. We should study the nature of reality with this in mind, and in this way we shall avoid two grave mistakes, either viewing life as made up of only mechanical laws, or viewing it as made up of only spontaneous actions, irrespective of law and order. As we gain the broader viewpoint, we shall see that life must contain two fundamental characteristics. We shall see that there is an infinite spirit operating through an infinite and immutable law. In this, cosmos, and not chaos, finds an eternal existence in reality. Love points the way, and the law makes the way possible. So the law, this impersonal, impartial, respecter of no one, the law just responds to whatever we project into it through our minds. It just says yes. So whatever your predominant thoughts are, it's like that big magic genie. Yes, your wish is my command. So that's why we can listen to the statement that you cannot hide from your secret thoughts because they show up as your life. So if you've got a tendency for the negative, to criticize, to be judgmental, to have doubt and confusion, then guess what? That will be the experience that you see. The universe mirrors back to us. This immutable law is an undifferentiated substance. And it's clothed, your thoughts become clothed in it. So on the brighter side, the lighter side, if your predominant thoughts are happy and cheerful and affirmative, then the universe clothes itself in that. And you see friends wherever you go. Because you've activated that within you. You cannot have what you're not willing to become in consciousness. So it's our job as metaphysicians to be what we seek. As Gandhi said, be the change you wish to see in the world. Be the happy you wish to see in the world. Be the generous you wish to see in the world. Be the wise that you wish to see in the world. It sounds very simple, but if we turn on the TV and watch the CNN, the constant negative news, then we can get pulled off track and we can get sucked into the world of circumstances, and then if we allow that to happen, then our thoughts will begin to take on that particular tone, and then life doesn't feel so good and you're in that heavy space. So each and every moment we remember. My husband says, what are you affirming right now? Whatever's going on in your mind, whatever you're thinking right now is what you're affirming right now, and you're impressing into this law that then reflects back to you that. Simple. So, the third part of this introduction is what it does. So, love rules through the law. And we're told that we have to be receptive. We have to be receptive to allowing our good to flow through us. So we become receptive. So, let me find my next quote, number 3. And Dr. Holmes says, undoubtedly we are surrounded by and immersed in a perfect life. A complete, normal, happy, sane, harmonious, and peaceful existence. Do you believe that? Do you see that? Sometimes, not all the time. But, he says, only as much of this life as we embody will really become ours to use it. So we have to embody this. This isn't an intellectual study where we just learn. We have to actually live it. We have to put it into action. One of the little phrases here in Science of Mind is treat, and move your feet. Now, treat is a word for pray, affirmative prayer. So we do our prayer work, we do our positive affirmations. We don't just sit there and expect it all to suddenly rush into our field of reality. We actually have to be moving our feet. We have to ask ourselves, is what I'm doing in alignment with what I want? Is what I'm thinking in alignment with what I want? Because if doubt slips in, or if we have a tendency to have a negative self-sabotaging habit that we engage in, that's not congruent with what you want. So we simply stop thinking those things and doing those things that are out of alignment with what we want. And we have congruence. We have order and flow. And we find the universe to be happy, harmonious, and peaceful. And it feels like life's good. Oh, I've got another quote. No, I already read that one. Okay. 46. This is interesting for a dyslexic. Okay. Should all of the wisdom... Oh well, we'll forget that. So, should all of the wisdom be sort of poured out upon us? Which it is, by the way. If all of the gifts of heaven are poured upon us, we would only receive that which we are receptive to. And I liken it to a toddler. If we were to give a toddler an ingot of gold, or something valuable to us as adults, a beautiful piece of jewelry, or a poem, or a book, it wouldn't know what to do with those things. It doesn't have the awareness or understanding. And that's kind of like us. Unless we have the awareness of the power of this information, it will be of little interest to us. So we have to be aware of the gifts of this understanding. Be aware of the gifts that we're each of us given. This amazing body, this amazing mind, and our ability to utilize this infinite realm of possibilities and potentialities and direct our thoughts to doing good in the world. So it was interesting, as I was searching through the book for something to share on the thoughts of, why do we struggle? I came upon the word in the glossary. By the way, in the back of this book, there's an amazing glossary of all of these terms that Dr. Holmes uses. And the word with the largest definition is repression. Repression. And I thought, that is so interesting. There's so many other wonderful words like love and creativity, and I'd like those ones to have a bigger explanation. But he's got the word repression, so I read it. And I think this is one of the reasons that I found this science so amazing, and why I chose to become a practitioner of Science of Mind, who's someone that uses this law consciously, intentionally to heal and to help others. He says, it is claimed that the large percentage of diseases is caused by the suppression of some form of emotion. Now, we understand the body-mind connection, correct? And we understand that thoughts, feelings, and emotions that are withheld or repressed build up an energy. Do you feel that? That when you're holding something back, you're not expressing yourself, that there's a tension within you? There's Namaste Nikita just sneaking in the back then. He goes on, any desire that remains unexpressed finds itself in a large percentage expressed as disease, dis-ease. Things will stand just so much pressure and no more. When a limit is reached, an explosion will follow unless some avenue of expression is provided. So we are here to have a life that we love. We're here to know what we want. We're here to have what we desire. And if we don't, then an energy will build up within us that doesn't feel good. We may move to sadness, frustration, discontent. Discontent. We're like the radiator with that tight, the cap, and there's a build-up. And if we don't have what we want, if we don't do what we want, and I don't mean physical stuff, I mean the life that we want. If we don't speak up, if we don't share of ourselves, then there's a build-up. We're here to be an outlet of our desires. We're here to be an outlet of the creativity that we are. So through this teaching, we're shown that we can consciously create through our minds, through our meditations, through putting these principles into practice. So the first thing I always ask a client when they come through the door, when they sit down with me, when I'm doing prayer work with them, when I'm helping them create a vision for themselves, is what do you want? What do you want? Now you're probably thinking right now, yeah, what do I want? And the funny thing is, most people don't know. And it's really interesting. I'm sure all of you know, because you've been studying for some time. But it's just a simple, powerful thing to ask yourself. If you find yourself in doubt, confusion, sadness, dismay, discontent, instead of wallowing there, instead of pitching a tent there, ask yourself, what do I want? We are creative beings. We're not here to live tense, tight, suppressed, repressed lives. We're here to be and have and do what we would love to. So you ask yourself, what do you want? You cast a vision. You sit with a practitioner. You do a spiritual mind treatment, an affirmative prayer, and I'll do one in just a minute, and you can feel the release of that creative energy, the activation of that thought within you. That's what we do here with the thing itself, the way it works and what it does. And then next week, how to use it. So I'll get more into this. But each of us are centers for this creative, limitless life to come forth. And if you're not enjoying what you've created, you can do something about it. And maybe it's simply asking, what do I really want? What would bring me joy? Because when you have what you want, and you're happy and joyful and creative and loving, then you're here doing what you came here to do, and that is contagious, and that has a ripple out effect. Then you're not repressed. You're not repressing or suppressing that flow. You're not beach bowling your good. You're allowing it to bubble up naturally. It's much more fun to play with the beach ball than trying to hold those down. So, yesterday in our workshop, we talked about some of the things that, some of the struggles that we've been through, health challenges, relationship challenges, financial challenges. And sometimes, I'd say all the time, drop the sometimes. Those challenges can be the very doorway to a greater expression of our light and our love. Sometimes those challenges can be the very catalyst to our good. Never mind. Most of you agree. So I think of the toddler. I'm using the analogy of a toddler again. You know, we're born with a natural genius within us, and I think of the toddler that's learning to walk, that is so unconditioned, that hasn't been conditioned by us adults that feed the toddler all kinds of nonsense, but just trusting, has complete faith in the world, lives absolutely fearless until it gets older, and then we scare them to death. But whilst that toddler is fearless, and it falls down, it's learning to walk, it falls down, and what does it do? It struggles to get back up. And then it wobbles and it falls down again and struggles to get back up. It's natural to have some struggle in our lives because it helps us to build the wings. I like the story of the chrysalis, and the little boy or girl had the chrysalis in its aquarium, and he saw the butterflies trying to emerge and saw it wiggling and thought, well, I'll just peel back a little bit of the skin and it will help it come out. Well, that doesn't work because the butterfly comes out with the deformed wings. Why? Because it needs that struggle. So that baby, that toddler that needs that struggle of up and down, up and down, up and down, so it can learn to find its feet and find its way. Can you imagine if it was like us? Struggles, falls down, and then it's like, well, I'm not getting up. Someone needs to save me. Who's going to pick me up? Who's going to carry me? We have the genius within us to take the struggles that we experience, to move through those struggles and to learn to find our feet and to learn through life that we have the ability to use this amazing technology, these universal spiritual principles. They're not just exclusive to Ernest Holmes. There's many teachers around the world that have shared this. The Buddha, I think of. We use our mind, we use our thoughts, we use our words, our actions that cultivate the emotions, that build into the beliefs, that become our life. This is conscious co-creation, and this is the power of the science of mind. Thank you. So I'd like to go into prayer. Right here, right now, as I turn within, I recognize there is only one moment. It is this now moment. And the now moment is the point of creation. So I bring all of my awareness into my heart, into this moment. And I recognize there is only one life. This life is God's life. This life is a good life. This life is perfect. And this life is my life now. There is only one mind. This mind is God's mind. This mind is infinite. This mind is rich with possibilities and potentialities. And this mind is my mind now. I am in the small what God or Spirit is in the large. I utilize my mental faculties to direct my thought. And so as I unite in the oneness of this one happening, as I unite in this one mind, I speak my word for truth. And if my words align with yours, if you're receptive to what I'm saying, allow these words to be yours. I am a blessed child of the universe. I move with ease. I know that the whole universe is conspiring for my good. I know that wherever I go, I am surrounded by friends. I find joy in the simple things. I am richly rewarded, and my spiritual journey is enhanced as I commit myself to these universal spiritual principles, as I align with these spiritual practices that open me up to my greater yet to be, to the infinite mind, to the one loving presence that is seeking to know itself more fully through me now. I am elevated into my truth, and I show up simply with the hands of God serving, the heart of God loving, the mind of God knowing. And I see all beings mirroring back to me the truth that I embody. And I am blessed, and all are blessed. For this is the truth that sets me free. I am free. I am powerful. I am peaceful. I am happy. I am loving, and I am generous. I am caring, and I'm creative. And I am a beneficial presence on this planet. And I simply let go of this prayer, and I let it be. And let us say together, and
So it is.
Thank you. So now it's our time.
Thank you for blessing us with your presence today and being a part of the Satya Center. You're invited to join Reverend Allie and Reverend Lyle each Sunday morning at 10 a.m. for your dose of connection, inspiration, and co-creation. The Satya Center is located at 795 24th Street, Ogden, Utah. For directions, a map, and our service times, please see our website, thesatyacenter.org. This program was brought to you by the kind donations from the members of the Satya Center. Thank you.